Hello, Stat 300, and this is Professor Gonzalez, and this is the beginning of our spring 2021 semester. This video is going to be an orientation and kind of going over the way we do things and also taking a look at the course syllabus. And this is going to pertain to section numbers or lecture numbers, I guess we call it. Okay, so this is our home page, which is in Canvas. If we kind of look around here, let's see, I'm not sure if I want to do my syllabus. Let's just look around this home page. Some nice things to look at, first of all, is the to-do list over here. And these little speakers just mean announcements that I've kicked out to you. For instance, optional Zoom office hours. They are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10:30 to 11:25. Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 10:25. Once again, these are optional Zoom office hours, and you just go over here, click on this button, and there is a Zoom link for you to link into to attend that office hour. Now, if you take a look at here, then this has a quiz. It's just an announcement talking about a quiz, and because I put in all the assignments into Canvas gives you little notifications, and these are a little bit earlier because this is February 1st, February 17th. I wish it didn't put it up this early. It's a little bit too early, I think, in some ways. But anyhow, it's nice because it gives us these notifications. We have quiz number 1, intro items, coming up that's due January 25th. I wanted to, this is an unusual quiz. Most quizzes have, math content, just like regular quizzes that you're used to. This first quiz is a intro items quiz, and so I decided to make a little announcement telling you what you can do to get a 10 out of 10. And so here it is. Well, you've already done some of the things. By the way, this reply to email is driving me nuts because I am taking each email, of course, marking that you've replied, making a contact, turning you into a contact, putting you into my contacts list, and then creating a rule so that whenever you email me, it goes into this nice little neat box or folder that says Stat 300. Anyhow, it in my program is going extremely slow. I'm seeing progress wheel just spinning like crazy, so it's taking me forever to reply because of that. So there's my excuse. But anyhow, you're going to reply to an email, 2 points. Watch the syllabus orientation video. That's this one, 2 points. Register for Alex 360. And we'll talk about how to do that. That's 2 more points. Complete the initial knowledge check. Talk about that. That's 2 more points. Complete HW 1.1. I'll show you how to get to that. That's 2 points. And for some extra credit, complete HW 1.2. Okay, so there's our first quiz. It's more or less an item of things, doing items to get yourself started. And that's what that's all about. Well, let's take a look at maybe one of the most important, well, let's see. Files is kind of nice. Files has things like this syllabus and pacing schedule. We'll get into that. It also has formula sheets for when we start taking a look at tests. There's formulas based on the test that you'll take, test 1, 2, 3, or 4, and so on. Modules is a very important thing to click on. We've got an orientation intro to Alex, and that's already in there, but I'm going to put this orientation video, which will be right here after I render it. Then we have instructional video guide. Now what this does, so when you first are trying to figure out how to do something or trying to learn, you're going to go right here, chapter 1 video guide, and this just highlights because when we're in Alex, it doesn't really tell us what section we're in. It's kind of annoying. So I went ahead and created this image and then said, okay, this is 1.1. These are small, short little, maybe 1 or 2 minute videos that describes it. So these are videos from the author, 1.1 and so on. This is 1.2 and you can see 1.3. How do you actually access these videos? Well, these videos would be accessed in in Alex? Well, let's go ahead and go into that right now. So remember, what do we have here? I've got video 1.1. It says a terminology of statistics or constructing a simple random sample. Let's remember those, and let's see if we could find that. So if we go into Alex, this is what Alex looks like after you register. And at the very beginning, what they're going to have you do is take this little tools test just so you know how to get around. And then it says get started, and it's going to want you to take the initial knowledge check, and it has these little tutorials. And so because I'm an instructor, I can kind of skip through. I don't think you can. And then you're going to take this initial knowledge check, which you have to take. The initial knowledge check basically is seeing where you're at. It tests you on topics prior to this class, but also topics in the class. The nice thing is if you get them correct, it'll actually take them off of some of your homework and give you credit for it already. And I've noticed some people already did the initial knowledge check and have quite a bit of knowledge already of some of the things in this class. I noticed probability. One person knew a lot about probability. And so this credits you, and so you don't have to redo some of those problems. So that's kind of nice. On the other hand, if you have some problems that you don't know how to do or prerequisites, it piles some of those questions on to get you to practice that. So you have to take this initial knowledge check. Because I'm an instructor, I can skip and say that I did it. Knowledge check. I want to skip it. And I want to say that I'm really smart, I'm advanced. Completed knowledge interest. Okay, so I'm going to say that I completed. Let's make myself moderate, like I did it in a moderate way. Okay, congratulations, Steve. So here we are. Let me continue. Now this is what I'm trying to say is that remember back here we had our video guide that I made for you. So when you're first trying to learn a topic, you're going to look at these to see which ones are 1.1, which videos are 1.1. And then you're going to go into Alex. Whoops, not that one. You're going to go into Alex. And you're going to go over here to this menu. And you're going to click on, not gradebook, textbook, ebook. It's going to pop up this little guy. Now you're able to go to the ebook and just look at the book, which is exactly like the hardcover or paperback or hardcover book that you could buy if you'd like to. You have to have this program, and you can use the ebook. If you want the loose leaf or the hard copy in addition, that's your option. Okay. So if you want the videos, you go to Media. I'm going to click on See All of Chapter 1, and there are those videos that I did a red box around, said 1.1. It says the terminology of statistics or constructing a simple random sample. So then you click on one of these guys and you can go ahead and play it. I'm going to turn it down because it's going to blast you since it's an internal speaker. And so of course the nice thing is you could play it at extra fast speed. You can pause it, go back, and so on and so forth. So that's how you're going to get the information, looking at the author's videos. And what I did, okay, so then after that, you're going to go up and you're going to do some problems. I'm going to put a pause on that. I'm going to show you the problems in a second. But you're going to start working the problems. So what I did was I focused my energy on making videos that does all the problems in Alex, all of them on all of the problems. So I've done every single homework problem. Of course, this is a pool of problems, so the pool of problems change numbers, but the problems are the same in terms of the type of problem. So I spent a bunch of time, and it's still spending quite a bit of time modifying and changing. If you go back to Canvas, and let's go back to, no, let's go to modules. If you look down here, this is called Homework Video Solutions. So when you do, and we have two types of homework problems. We have HW problems, which I call the assignment side, and Alex is changing their format a little bit, so it doesn't quite make as much sense, but it's the assignment side, or HW 1.1. And then I've got these Alex adaptive problems, and I'm going to show you the difference between the two in Alex. But I've done all of them. So if you have any questions at all, you just click on this little guy and open this up. And then we have me doing some problems over here. Okay, and I basically do every single problem for you. Okay, so that's how that goes, and I found that is really helpful, because it's those are the problems that students really have difficulty with, is when they get to homework. That's where they really get stuck. So I spent my time making homework, or doing all the homework problems, and making videos of that. And students have said that's been very helpful. Okay, now let's see. I think what I'd like to do is go into, let me go back to Alex. And here's sort of a little bit, something that takes a little time getting used to. So when you have Alex, you're going to go up here and take a look at the menu. And so you have two areas that you can go to. Well, let me go to the gradebook so you kind of see it. And this is the modification that they've made. It's a little better now. You're able to actually see everything, and so that's kind of nice. But your homework is going to be made up from 3 different things, okay? So your homework score in the class at the end of the day, your homework score comes from, 50% of your homework score comes from these HWs that I was talking about. And the HWs, I call them the assignment side, because you used to have to get to it by the assignment menu bar. But anyhow, they're HWs, and they are non-adaptive. They're like computer-assisted homework problems you've seen before. It asks you a question, they're going to help you, but it doesn't change the problem, and it only makes you do it once. And you can do it as many times as you want until you get 100%. So that's 50% of your grade. And then the other 50% comes from 2 pieces on the adaptive side of Alex, which is really the traditional Alex piece that has artificial intelligence, has some really good things and some really annoying things. And that's why I broke it down into kind of try to balance these 2 types of problems. So this adaptive side of Alex calls it objectives. It has the look of these little circular pies. It's supposed to be a pie chart. And when you do these problems, it's all about mastery, and it'll make you do it 3 times. And if you get it wrong, it'll start introducing maybe prerequisites of problems that you may have, some ideas or topics you may have not known how to do. And so it's really powerful that way, but it also is, I feel that if you do all the curriculum that way, it can really pile up with some students. Some students that are on it every day and really put a lot of time, it's perfect for them, but a lot of students really, it turns into this big mountain of work, and that sometimes it's hard to overcome. So these 2 systems, I think, really work well together, but you have to realize that they are two different systems. So once again, this system over here is more traditional, and then this is the objective side, or also known as the adaptive side. Now, when you do a problem here and get it right, you also get credit in this final pi progress. And after you do the knowledge check, you'll actually notice that the knowledge check, if you get some things right, you'll already have some of that final pi. Now, this final pi, it's called final pi because it's due on the final day of our final exam day. And I set the goal at 85% of the topics. So if you get to 85% of the topics, you will have effectively 100% in this category, which is a quarter of your homework grade. How do you get these topics taken care of in the final pi progress? Well, the topics are checked off when you're doing these objectives over here in the adaptive side. So these adaptive problems are really important to do. You could actually get to it by just clicking right here. That's actually new from last semester. But you could also get to these adaptive problems by going back to the menu and just saying learn. Okay, so if you just say learn, it gets you into these adaptive problems, and has this little progress bar. You've got to do it 3 times, and then it gives you a big yippee or something like that, and you move on. But what you can do is you get to go down to this pull down menu, and it has this sort of carousel that moves left to right. And notice it kind of locks you out of problems that you haven't done your prereq stuff yet. So one of the easiest things in this is doing a tally table. You're going to see that's almost ridiculously easy, right? But that's the first thing you have to do, and then you build on it. Okay, and so it unlocks as you go. And if you need to do prerequisite work, which is not exactly stat 300, sometimes it'll throw in some prerequisite stuff that'll help you do the stats. Not a lot of that, but a little bit of it. And you can also move around as you do more problems. It'll open up more for you. Okay. This is the adaptive side of ALEKS. I do have these problems done. I have done these problems also on the video solutions too. So you can go and look at those. The interface here to get help over here, you can go to ebook, you could ask questions, you could play videos. There's even a nice little statistical calculator for you. And so the help is pretty good here. And so you can go ahead and here's the explanation on what's going on. So it's actually pretty good. Gives you the answer, but then you have to do it, right? Okay, so there'll probably be questions about that because it is a touch confusing, I think. But when you go to the grade book, I think that is what really kind of helps you see. Yes, half your grade comes from this stuff. And by the way, these problems, these HW problems, are due on the day of the test closes. And we actually can see that the day that the test closes, here is our calendar. And this is a great thing. I would just definitely print this up and put it out. It has all the topics and where we're supposed to be. And then if you look at this, I have, now this is the intro quiz, so it's just due on Monday. But I really tried to stay with the idea that quizzes and tests will open on Friday and close on Monday. Now, look at that. I had break my rule right away because there's a holiday, President's Day holiday on Friday and Monday here. So I opened it on Thursday, and I decided to try to respect your holiday by giving you the extra time here so you can have a holiday. But anyhow, that's the only one that closes on an awkward day. I really wanted to be consistent, so you know that when it opens, it's going to close on Monday at midnight the following. So you got open on Friday, closing Monday at midnight following. And so that stays consistent other than the holiday and other than, of course, the final exam. The reason why we have these open for you is because this is an asynchronous class, which means there's no specific times. So whenever we have assessment or homework, it needs to be open for a period of time for you to find the time in your schedule to do it. So that's the thinking there. This particular document, you can find this back in Canvas, and it's actually going to be under Files, and Syllabus and Pacing is where it would be, and it is our pacing schedule, and you could download this and print it or make it a PDF. And there's our whole semester, everything. Okay. The HW, right, homework problems, which are half your grade, will always be due on the due date of the test. The ALEKS objectives or interactive questions, including the pie chart, are going to be due at the end of the semester. But you definitely do not want to let that pile up, because it is a beast if you let it pile up, because you have to do prerequisite stuff to get to the next piece, and if you get them wrong, then it'll give you more problems. So you really want to stay on top of that. And I really tried to have those open and close, but by the nature of the way that works, you can't have two things open at the same time, and it really gets messy in terms of access, I think. So I'm just having that side stay open. Okay, another thing to take a look at is our syllabus. So when we take a look at our syllabus, so this is sort of like our contract and talks about, the class. And it talks about some of the things I was talking about. Basically, daily homework in ALEKS is something that you need to do, need to be consistent. And there's an adaptive side, which are the objectives. It's adaptive because it changes the questions as you ask the questions, and it tries to tailor questions to you. And then you've got the non-adaptive side, which I called the assignment. It was the green HW questions, which are more like a traditional computer assisted, where it just asks a question and then you go until you get it right and then you move on. It doesn't have that artificial intelligence piece. Like I said already, the HW problems, and it says it's listed. It's those homework questions and problems will be due when the test is closing, which is always at midnight. Okay. Quizzes. Okay, there's going to be 5 quizzes tonight. You can see them on the pacing chart, and we don't have any makeups for quizzes. Quizzes will be completed through ALEKS. The quizzes will be open on Friday and closed on Monday, as I said, at midnight. The dates of the quizzes are published on the pacing chart, pacing schedule. We don't have retakes for quizzes. However, as an incentive, if you can get your ALEKS homework score, what's our ALEKS homework score? It comes from 50% from the non-adaptive homework HW green problems, and then 25% from the golden colored little kind of pie charts, right? The interactive ALEKS stuff. And then you've got that final pie that gives you your final 25%. If you can get 85% in that overall ALEKS homework score, then I will drop your lowest quiz score. And so if you have a low one, or you didn't take it or got a 0 on it, then that's forgiven. Exams are done in the same way that they're done in ALEKS. Open on Friday, close on Monday at midnight. The dates of the exams are published. As a benefit, I have a similar kind of thing, is that if you have 85% or greater on your ALEKS homework at the end of the semester, and your final exam percentage can replace your lowest exam score. And of course, that's as long as that's beneficial. I'm not going to replace a higher test with a lower final. I'm not going to do that. So, but if you have 85% or greater from your homework, you have 2 nice benefits from that. I guess we'll call it the 85% rule at the end of the semester. The final is a comprehensive final, and that is 20% of your overall grade. And that opens Thursday, the 13th of May, and closes and is due at midnight on the 18th of May. Now, I don't think I'll pull up that pacing chart, but it's on the pacing chart. Okay, our textbook is called Elementary Statistics, 3rd edition by Navidi and Monk. Now, what's required is that you get an ALEKS 360 account, and I'll show you how to do that with the e-text. That's minimum. If you're a person that wants a hard copy, you can get a hard copy through the website, which is always the cheaper way than going to our bookstore. The bookstore, I believe, marks up by 20% or something like that. Okay, here's the registration instructions. The most important numbers would be this one, or number is a class code. This class code will link your ALEKS account to my class, which will be our class. So that's super important. Then you'll take your credit card and purchase access, or you may have purchased an access kit that has numbers that you put in, but you do have to always put in the class code first, and then you put in a super long a series of numbers. Now, at the bottom of page 2 of the syllabus, I have this nice little piece here that I applied for and got, and this is just called a financial aid code. It works for approximately 2 weeks for free, and then it doesn't cancel your account, but it doesn't give you access anymore. So you will have to eventually pay for it. But it's a nice workaround for people that don't quite have the money at the beginning of the semester so you can get started and not fall behind. So there's that. So use this as a temporary access for about 2 weeks. And then you must get the full copy or upgrade to a full account. And those are just the steps. You can go ahead and look and see how to actually do that. Okay, so attendance participation is essential. Checking Canvas emails. Now the email that I sent, that first roll call email out to you, that's the email that's on file that you have for your e-services through Sac City. If that's not an email that you want to use, then you need to update your Sac City email, because I go into that, I use that service to do group emails to you all the time. And so we want to make sure it's getting to you. Okay. But anyhow, checking emails, checking Canvas, I try to do notifications, I do announcements, and I try to do emails to remind you, hey, this is closing, get this done, stuff like that. Try not to be a nag, but I try to do as much as I can to get communication, since we're not face to face. Okay, also, let's see what else is going on here. If you are not participating and not logging into Canvas, or Alex rather, and you're falling further behind and I can't get a hold of you and that kind of thing, then eventually I will drop you from the class. And nevertheless, it is your responsibility to drop yourself from the class, because you want to avoid a possibility of an F on your transcript. But I will do that if I don't see any activity also. After a certain time, that would be a W rather than an F, which would hurt your GPA. So I try to clear off the roll sheet when there's students that are not participating and the grade is super, super low. Try to communicate with you, but sometimes I don't get emails back, and so and then deadlines come in, so we have to make decisions and actions. So anyways, that's what I would do. We already talked about how to succeed, checking emails, Alex. The first thing, like I said, what I would do is I would take a look at the author's initial lecture, which is posted. I post the video guides in Canvas, and then you go into Alex to look at those as I showed you. Then you're going to work on some of the problems in Alex, and of course there's some help buttons and explanations and stuff like that. And then to fill in the gaps of learning, you can go ahead and take a look at my video homework problems that I do, and I've done every problem, and I've tried to explain and think about potential questions that students might have. And in some cases, I've done some mini lectures to really try to bring some of these ideas together, not just doing the homework problems, but then do little lectures. Another great resource is the SEC Math Lab, and they've got a link here that you can use. You can attend my office hours for additional help. Also, I do give a practice review test through Alex, just so you can get used to that format, because that format is different than a paper pencil test, which I prefer, and you might too. But so I give a practice with that before every test and before the final. If you're a student that has any special needs or learning disabilities, physical disabilities, please let me know as soon as possible so I can make those, so we can make those accommodations. Okay, taking a look at, this is the weighted grade and how your grade is calculated. And our Alex homework, as I told you, right, it has those 3 parts to it, and those 3 parts come together to make 20% of your overall grade. We have 5 quizzes, which makes 10% of your grade, 5 exams, which makes 50% of your grade, 1 comprehensive final that must be taken that makes 20% of your grade. Okay, here's our student learning outcomes. These are some of the outcomes that are identified by the department that we'd like you to get better at and achieve and show success that you could do it. And there they are right there. And finally, we have full term dates and deadlines. And this is just as a reference for you to look at important dates throughout the semester. Often students like to look at, well, I don't know if they like it, but they want to look at April 18th, last day to drop the class with W notation. So that's sometimes decision day for people. And I think that is pretty much it for this. I'm sure we'll talk about this more. There will be more questions. I think I'm going to do another video that talks about the difference between the assignment side of ALEKS and the interactive side, just because that there seems to be a learning curve on that. Making sure that there's two sides of that. There's two types of homework problems. You want to do all of them. And I think that's it. And so thank you very much for listening to this somewhat lengthy orientation and syllabus explanation. I'm excited. I wish we were face-to-face. That would even be more exciting, probably for everybody, or at least for me. But I'm excited for the semester, and I'm excited that even though we have COVID and this epidemic, you're still taking classes and moving forward and progressing. So that's awesome. All right, well, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. And that's a wrap. How do I turn this thing off? There we go.